This is always fun. Oh, slides in so perfect. Yeah. If you'd like to follow the process of turning a block of wood like this into a guitar like this, then you've come to the right place. And if you would like to see me give this guitar away, click subscribe, hit the bell.
This is just the second one of these I've made. Got a couple more coming up here.
Sanded those edges up, routed. So this part is not tapered. This part is tapered. So I've just unboxed this Schaller bridge. This is a 455. The 455 was a chrome bridge. The 457 that was used on the original Clouds was the Schaller 457 bridge. In order to make this a 457, I would send this off to Advanced Plating down in Tennessee, and I could have them do it in chrome. I could have them do it in black. I'm going to have this one done in gold once again, because the original Clouds used gold hardware, and so I will do that. I'll have this. So this 455 will essentially become a 457 by having the gold plating put on it. I'm going to continue to use Schaller bridges because of the hardened steel bridge. The other thing is that they now are using titanium on their bridge saddles, and so the harder steel like that is going to transfer the vibration of the guitar strings a little bit better, and it's going to allow for the guitar strings to continue to vibrate longer and give you a longer sustain. So also using Schaller M6 minis or the Schaller locking tuners. I really like those. Good stuff. German made. And maybe you can leave a message below on how I should actually say that, Schaller or Schaller. I've heard both. Heard people say Schaller, which I think is wrong. Schaller is probably right. If it's German, you probably have to get a little guttural in there maybe. I've got both of these Union Jack bodies pretty well rough sanded with the orbital sander, as I would do using a 60 grit sandpaper. So it's just rough sanded. Now I'm going to have to use hand sandpaper and get these edges in here. I want to do that a little bit different. I've been working on getting this sanded so these are a little bit rounded off here and kind of a nice little dip in there, and boy, I really love the bird's eye that's coming out on that. It's going to be nice. I've got to do a little more sanding on this part yet. You know, my fingers, just after a while, they start to get sore with sanding by hand. It's just a simple solution, but just use a little pliers with the rubber on there, and I essentially just wrap some sandpaper around it, and it really saves on my fingers just the knuckles and stuff. After a while, they just start to get sore. Call me a wimp, but anyway, it's a little trick that if anybody else is finding that you're getting sore, you can just wrap it around a little something that'll hold it, and it really helps. And this is with 150 grit right now. But when I was growing up and learning, well, you always go with the grain, well, we would stop at maybe 150 grit or maybe 220 grit or something. But I'm going to sand this to about either 400 or 600 grit before I actually start to actually do the finish on it. You got to have enough roughness that the finish will stick. So somewhere around 400 grit is plenty, as long as you've got all of your lines out from doing things like this where you're swirling. I found that it works pretty good to break the rules of not just going with the grain if you're going to continue sanding to such a fine sandpaper. I follow a number of different pages on guitar building, kit building, building from scratch, custom guitar builds. And on one of those, somebody asked the question, why don't guys just build their own necks for those who don't build their own necks. And there was a lot of thoughts and speculations as to why that might be. And those are from guys that obviously built their own necks. I want to give my perspective of why I actually choose not to build my own neck. I just received this. I haven't even opened it yet, so you're going to see me open it. I have ordered from Warmoth, I know probably somewhere in the range of 20 plus guitar necks. And the quality that they have in their fretwork and all is so good that even though I could build a neck to get it to the quality where they're at, it would take me a lot of work and I'd probably be real slow about it. I buy an unfinished tilt back paddle neck and it has all the specs exactly as I want. And I do something different with all my guitars that I'm really enjoying looking at this fretboard, guys. I'm excited about this. First time I've looked at it. I like that. That's nice. I use a Gibson scale. I use the 24 3/4 inch, not the 25.5 inch neck of a Fender, but a 24 3/4 inch. I do my own nut. I look forward to doing my own headstock. That's a thrill. I actually, and once you do this, just to warn you, you cannot send it back to Warmoth once you do this, but I reshape my joint here where it will attach. So I reshape that. So I do some things a little bit different there. I use a straight 12-inch radius. 12 years ago when I built my first guitar, I put a straight 12-inch radius as an experiment on that guitar, and I loved it. For my playing style and the way that I play, a straight 12-inch radius was so much better for me than a typical compound radius neck, like a 10/16 radius. I still like 10/16, but the straight 12-inch, I really, really like that. I like the 24 3/4 inch scale. I use stainless steel 6150 fret wire on there. But when they send their neck, it is dressed so nicely. And I have not had any problems with their stuff. For the amount of time and effort and work that it would take me to do this and be satisfied with it, I'd gladly pay the money. Most all of us come to some components that we use somebody else's. I see guys on the guitar Facebook pages that some of these guys are making their own knobs. And they probably think, well, why doesn't everybody make knobs? Well, you know what? I don't want to make knobs. That's not where I would find any joy. Some guys really enjoy that, so they should do it. Guys who do their own pickups, wiring their own pickups and putting those together. They probably think, well, why don't they just make their own pickups? Well, not all of us want to do that, and I think that's okay. I like putting my time and work into the guitar body, the headstock. Like I said, I enjoy doing that, and even doing the nut. This is always fun. Oh, slides in so perfect. Yeah. So there's no reason for me not to buy one when it's not my thing to build one. Again, it's not an issue necessarily of skill, but yeah, does it bring me joy? So shout out to Warmoth. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your quality. The guys that do your necks, I am so pleased with. I have never been dissatisfied. Man, I don't know. Can you see the grain on this Indian rosewood? I love that. This will be a contoured heel. In fact, let me take you to that very first guitar build that I did, and I want to show you my heel that I did on that because I really like that heel on there. I want to show you a mistake that I made on that guitar. Right now, I have not yet cut out my pickup cavities, and I haven't put my bridge on, and I will not do that until I get my neck put in place, because on that guitar that I'm going to show you, I did those things before I put my neck on, and then there was a little bit of an issue where my neck had to move over slightly, and so my center line is not quite center. This guitar here is my first guitar build that I ever did, and I absolutely love the guitar, love the way it plays, love the way it sounds. The action is incredible, and I want to show you the mistake that I made when it came to putting the neck on. And I bought a neck pocket template. What I didn't know, and I'm still not even sure exactly why they do it, but their template is meant to have a roller ball that's bigger than just a flush router bit that would cut flush. And when I cut this out, well, then it was too big for my guitar neck. So I had to come up with a creative way to fix it. And I had done quite a bit at that point already, so I wasn't going to just stop what I was doing. So what I did, and this is where the mistake comes in, and like I said, even though I love this guitar, what you'll notice is the center line comes down, and instead of the center line being between string 3 and 4, it's between 2 and 3. And that's because I had to move this neck over this way because the neck pocket was too big. So what I did was I just moved it over, rerouted slightly there, and then as you can see in this corner in here, I just had to get creative how that came down. So that's what I don't like about it, and it was a mistake, but it worked and it was a creative way to fix it. The thing that I do like on this that I want to show you is just how I did the heel on this one. Again, this was the first time I had done one, but just rounding this off sure makes for this just feels good when I play it. I can play up here and it just feels comfortable in the palm of my hand. So I kind of like doing necks with these neck ferrules. Ferrules. I can't even pronounce the word. Ferrules. So I just like the neck heel to be rounded like this. And I was trying to figure out what kind of a headstock I want on, and I think I came up with this. I like somewhat simple, just sleek, simple in looks. So I'm thinking of going with this for my headstock. My thought is that before I cut this out, because this is a little curved piece, instead of trying to cut that, I'm going to use a drill bit, a bit that would be big enough that would leave that curve there. And then even with this, I might see if I've got a drill bit that like a Forstner bit that I might just be able to use. When you're going to make a headstock, to do that, I make my center line. I also had a center line here. Now this started off the exact same shape as this, and then I brought this down to make it smaller, obviously. But I needed to measure where I was going to keep my centers for my machine heads and get those marked so that they're all in the right place. Now I'm going to drill a hole through here to round this part off, and then I'll have to actually just use a saber saw to cut that part there. I like to have a simple headstock for the most part, and I really like a PRS headstock where it's pretty much this up to here. There's nothing there, but I was thinking, well, do something in the vein of a PRS type of headstock. See, by drilling these two holes, I'm getting the roundness that I was looking for on these edges. So I'm getting the roundness that I wanted, like right here. So it's just slightly rounded, and then rounded here. And I'm gonna bring this up with a saber saw. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and drill the holes for the Schaller machine heads, and I'm going to use Schaller M6 machine heads for this. I use a lot of Schaller M6 minis for those Cloud Style and Horizon guitars. This is just an actual M6. The M6, the button is going to be a little bit bigger, and then the body of it is just a little bit bigger. So what I need to do is I'm going to make marks where each of my holes needs to go. Easy enough. I just get it on the level edge here, and I put the punch on the X. Just give it a little tap. Don't need to do anything hard. All I'm doing is making a mark where it's at. But if I give it just a little bit of a tap, that helps me to line up my drill bit as I go to drill here. One of these is just really handy, guys, to help you figure out what size you need for things. It's a 25/64 inch hole. So what I've done is I've got my bits in just one of these little organizers, and here's my 25/64. By the way, I always double check them to just make sure that I do have the 25/64. Well, I may have run into a little bit of a snag in calling these the Horizon. I've got a reason why I want to call it the Horizon, and it's a story that I'm not quite ready to tell yet. But, silly me, I wasn't thinking about it, and finally, all of a sudden it dawns on me, you know, I better look out there and see if there's any other guitars called Horizon. And ESP has some Horizon guitars. So, I need to stay away from calling this a Horizon. But I'm going to come really close, because I think what I've landed on is I'm going to use X from Xander Guitars. Alexander is my son. I always called him Xander when he was younger, and so I go by Xander Guitars. And so I'm thinking Xander, take that X, and then Horizon, take the H off Horizon. You'd still say it kind of like Horizon, X Horizon. But the X can be replaced with Blue Horizon or Red Horizon. Let me know what you think about that. You can leave a comment down below, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I need Horizon of some sort, and I was going through all sorts of different thoughts of how to make it a Horizon without being Horizon or ZE, and I don't want that either. So now back to these Union Jack guitars. It's time to go ahead and drill the holes. I use my template. I've got a template that I made a long time ago. It fits into the pocket just nice and easy, and it says right here, this side up. I make my marks, and I can drill the holes using my drill press. I drill the holes so that these are bigger than the screws, so that the screw slides through easily for a couple of reasons. One reason is you want to be able to bring the neck tight together with the body, and if the screw just slips through here, not real loose, but just is able to slide through, though, even if it's a little bit tight, but it can slide through, then it'll help bring this good and tight in this joint. The other thing is, if by chance, because I've never done it before, but if by chance you break a screw off while you're screwing this into the body, and the screw breaks off, you can pull this off, and then you can use the pliers to get the screw out of the body. I wonder if I've ever had to do that before. Maybe 2 or 3 times. Well, I'm going to wrap up for today. I know that we did a lot of work on those guitars. Next week, I've got some more guests that I'm going to put on, and I think that you're going to be really excited when you see who it is. Anyway, I hope that you would click like and subscribe if you would. really encourages me. Also, if you would like to share your guitar story, then you can find the link below for my email or my Patreon page, and you can share your guitar story. There's guidelines under there for you to follow. And I might just be able to share your guitar story on Let's Build a Guitar. Talk to you later, guys. Fight for joy.